One of the most common problems I see when students first come to me is that the left wrist collapses in on itself. It looks a little bit like that, and the fingers almost look sort of like a claw. And it's a problem I have a lot of sympathy for, because when I was a child I was a really, really bad wrist collapser. I recently sorted through some old photographs and I saw some things there that made me cringe. So let's tackle that problem. And there are usually two main reasons for why that happens. We're going to go through both of them, and I'm going to try and offer some practice solutions to fix the problem. So problem number one is very, very often that the thumb is doing something like that at the back of the fingerboard, so that the thumb kind of collapses in on itself and squeezes into the fingerboard. So something like that, yeah. So the hand essentially looks like that. If you take that shape away from the cello, you see it looks absolutely horrible. If you just saw someone like that, you feel really, really sorry for them. So that's why, let's first of all return to a really sort of relaxed shape and look how we would pick up anything else. Let's say how we would pick up a mug. You see that without even thinking about it. We do that, and the thumb is pretty much opposite the second finger, and the thumb is round. Yeah, you wouldn't be sort of doing that if you were holding a glass or a bottle or a mug, or so you wouldn't even think about it. So my rule is, if we don't do it anywhere else, let's not do it on the cello either. So the first thing we want to establish is that really nice sort of C shape, like that. You see? I spy. You can see that. So that's what we want to bring onto the cello, that lovely shape with absolutely no pressure coming from the thumb into the fingerboard. So you just hold this lovely shape with a nice long arm, but you don't exert any pressure with the thumb, okay? And that brings me to the second very common problem, and the two are very, very closely interlinked usually, and that is if the joints in the fingers are simply too weak. Now, it's a problem I especially see very often in students who tend to be very double jointed. And so that in itself, being double jointed, is not a problem. There is an awful lot we can do to strengthen our joints, and joints which are strong don't tend to collapse. Yeah, so that applies to our finger joints on the cello as much as it does to our knee joints when we run. Joints which are well supported by muscles don't tend to collapse. So there are a couple of really, really good exercises for that, which also help the shape and which also help the thumb. One of them is what I call the tapping exercise. So we don't use the bow for that. We just make that shape, and I usually tend to practice that a little bit higher up on the instrument rather than in first position, where we have a bit more resistance from the string. So about third or fourth position perhaps. So our finger stays on the string the whole time, and you can hear that I'm making a bit of a sound here. We press the string down and we release. And we start initially just with one finger evenly. Then as you go along, you can make up lots of different rhythms. Every single day when you practice that, you can make up a little rhythm for yourself. You can take a rhythm from one of your pieces, anything you like. And then you note how I maintain that shape throughout. And you do that with all four fingers. Note my arm is really long. And so on and so forth. A second exercise that really helps, that is done completely away from the cello, uses one of these lovely little slightly squidgy balls. They are balls which are normally used for physiotherapy, occupational therapy. You can buy them very cheaply on Amazon. And what we do with these is, by just doing essentially the same tapping exercise, like that, we really build strength in our finger muscles here. So this is something you just can very happily do away from the cello, just a couple of times a day with all your fingers here, and you will in no time really notice improvement in your finger strength, and thus in the shape of your hand, because you won't feel tempted anymore to do that, which is the action that makes your wrist collapse. So I post a little link below to one of these. I think they cost about £5 for 3 or something. And they're really useful, not only for the left hand, but also for the right hand. So if you watch out for some of my other videos, I'll be demonstrating some exercises with those as well. I hope that's been helpful. And if you like this little video, then please smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon.